going on, everybody? My name is Daily Draft Dude, aka DDD, and today I'm here with you to do a fantasy football mock draft. So, the NFL draft has just ended. Let's get right into mock drafts. Today, we're going to be doing a 12 team, point 0.5 PPR, no tight end premium draft. I'll be drafting from the one spot. If you enjoy this video, please think about subscribing and hitting that notification bell. But you know what? Let's just get right into it. Yes, sleeper. I do want to start. So right now, I think in point 0.5 PPR, there's really only two clear answers. You can either go Bijan Robinson or you can go Jameer Gibbs. I do not believe in going the pass catchers in point 0.5 PPR because I just feel like the positional scarcity of running backs is just too great to pass up. I think fantasy football has been trending in a direction where getting production from wide receivers, while it may not be top 10 production, is easier than getting top 10 production from a running back. So, with that being said, I'm personally going to go Bijan Robinson here. I can understand the argument for Jameer Gibbs. I think Bijan has quite a few question marks at quarterback, but his backup has moved on. Tyler Algier has gone to Arizona. He also just got screwed. And now they brought in Brian Robinson, so also B. Robinson. Don't make that mistake when you're drafting. But I think he seems to be the workhorse. I do think that Tua, we saw last year, maybe in Mike McDaniel's offense, that Tua did check down to Devon Achane quite a bit. With that being said, with Kevin Stefanski in the mix, and really just not a lot of other weapons on the team outside of Drake London, maybe Kyle Pitts. I think it's a clear Bijan Robinson for me in this direction. But if you were to go to Jameer Gibbs, I would not blame you. So let's kick it off. So we see Chase, Gibbs, Cook, Taylor, Nakua, McCaffrey. McCaffrey at 7 is a little rich for me. JSN, Genty, Walker. Walker in the first is very rich. All right, so we're back here at the 2. We got the 2-3 turn. So a lot of good options have gone in here. I think Trey McBride, if we're talking about positional scarcity, I can understand the pick in the second. I don't personally love it. I think Devon Achane falling into the second round is a little egregious too. I do think that he should go before someone like Jeremiah Love. We have no idea what Jeremiah Love's going to be. We do know that the Miami offense is not supposed to be great with Malik Willis. They don't have many weapons. But I don't really see the upside of Jeremiah Love outside that he's younger. I think the offense just has just as many question marks. And, excuse me. And I'm just not really feeling that pick there so high. We saw this last year with Ashton Genty. Genty went to the Raiders. He had a terrible line. He was great in so many metrics. He didn't get over 1,000 yards, but ultimately, it was the situation, not him as a talent, that let him down and disappointed a lot of fantasy managers. With that being said, at the 2-3 turn, I think there's a few directions that we could go. I really like Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to have a great year with Jackson Dart. He is coming off an ACL. I do like Brock Bowers. And I do like Josh Allen. The other picks I'm not too sold about. I do think that I am just going to take a little bit more of a balanced approach. And I think in these rounds, I want to get as many number one overall players as possible. So I am going to pick Brock Bowers. It is a little early. I do think here I am going to take Josh Allen. Just there's so many question marks with these picks. I think Malik Neighbors, he's coming back from injury. How is he going to look, the first half of the season as he starts to ramp up? George Pickens did sign the franchise tag, but I'm curious to see, was last year maybe more or less of a fluke because CeeDee Lamb was playing through partial injury? I don't think so. I think that he can thrive. I just don't know if he's going to live up to his ADP. Bucky Irving, I like. I drafted him quite a bit when he was a rookie. He really helped me out that year. I drafted him in Dynasty. I am a little curious about him. I do think Tampa Bay is going to take a step back offensively. I personally love Derrick Henry. I think this is probably a good spot for him. I'm going to pass. I'm going to go with Josh Allen. I think that he can get me QB1 overall upside, so I would have RB1, tight end 1, and QB1. Let's get those 1-2 positions. Let's see where the draft turns, and let's go into the 5-6 turn. So let's select Josh Allen. We see Malik, Pickens, Rice, Kyron Williams. I mean, the computer really running back heavy team. zero point 0.5 PPR, that makes sense. Lamar in the fourth. Drake May, that's a good pick. All right, so let's go back to it. So there's a few picks I don't really like. I don't really like Jalen Waddle here. I think that's like super fragile of a team. This is a solid team. Lot of running backs. I like the Bucky Javante pick. We'll see if Javante can recreate the magic of last year. I think this is again a really good team. A lot of upside here. If Jeremiah Love can overcome his situation, I think he can be really good, but we will see. I love Derrick Henry here. Travis Etienne, a little bit rich in the third. I think he is going to be good for New Orleans, but his efficiency does tend to tamper in the back half of the season. We got a lot of good options here. I sort of like Zay. I think he's going to be good. I'm not a huge Harvey believer. Maybe not in zero point 0.5 PPR. If Devonta Smith does move, if the Eagles do move on from AJ Brown, I think Devonta Smith is going to be good. I think Bashal Tune in the fourth for someone that's a little unproven is super super rich. Other than that, I'm not really feeling a lot of the running backs. I think Montgomery can be pretty good. I like Dowdle. Zay, I think feels good. They did pick up his 5th-year option. It's just a little tough. I'm not really loving a lot of the options that I have at my disposal at the 2-3 turn. Maybe in hindsight I should have went back, taken Malik Neighbors here instead of Josh Allen and gotten a quarterback that's maybe similar, going, maybe like a Dak, a T-Law, Caleb. But hindsight is 50-50. I think maybe we'll punt on wide receiver, and we're going to reach a little bit for Quinshawn. Quinshawn, I think, is going to have a really great year. He was looking good down the stretch until he had that horrific ankle injury. Hopefully he can bounce back. He's with Todd Monken. They ran the ball a lot with Derrick Henry. So we'll see about that. I think I'm going to continue to punt a wide receiver. I don't really like Bashal Tootin here. I think that's really, really rich. I'm a little nervous about David Montgomery behind the Texans O-line. I don't know if that offense is going to be able to move. They did trade for him, so let's look at some of these wide receiver options. I do like Zay. He does tend to disappear at times, though. And Devonta Smith is a little bit unreliable. These three are just a little bit too unreliable. Terry, I'm not really sure. And DJ Moore, again, unproven. There's a part of me that wants to go Rome. I might hold out for some of the... maybe I hope I get a Jordan Tyson. Man, do I really just go back-to-back ankle injuries? There's also DeAndre Swift, who I think could be decent. I don't think he's amazing, but he could be decent. Yeah, I don't really love RJ Harvey personally. They did select Jonah Coleman. If I'm going to select a Denver Bronco here, I think I'm going to just get the discount on J.K. Dobbins, which is a little bit here, so I might go that later. We'll go a little bit balanced. I think I'll pick up Zay here. Yeah, just not really feeling the 2 in. I think it's really high for someone that hasn't played too much. There's a lot of steam going into the fact that he's going to be some workhorse. I'm just not personally buying it, but We'll see. Wow, Jaden Daniels in the sixth round. That is an extremely good value for someone that could go number one overall. Here, I like Jordan Tyson a lot. Really like Jordan Tyson. I think there's a lot of good picks here. I also kind of like Rico. I don't really know if they're going to be that good, but I do like Rico here. But Jordan Tyson to me is just like a big slam. Makai Lemon, I'm a little nervous about. Michael Wilson is a fade for me. I think I'd rather have Marv over Michael Wilson. Brian Thomas, I like. But again, you have like a lot of these teammates here. Jaden Reed, I think, is going to be really good. Jaden Higgins, I think, is going to be really good. Omar Cooper, I think, could be really good. So I think there's a lot of value at the end of the board. I think we're just going to go back RB. I like Tony Pollard. Again, I think you can get someone like, say, a Nick Singleton. You could just sort of throw darts at later. Aaron Jones, I like. J.K. Dobbins, I like. Chuba, I think, is good. But again, I'd rather have Jonathan Brooks. I think, all these sort of value receivers. With that being said, it is zero point 0.5 PPR. There's a part of me that just sort of wants to go Marv in the seventh. It's a little bit of a reach, but I think these two have question marks. I like the quarterback play a little bit more, but I think Marv is pretty talented. Brian Thomas in the seventh could be a really good value too. And then I just slam like high upside running backs later. I could also take Pollard and then cuff him with Singleton later. I think he's good. I think I'm gonna go for Dowdle. Van is a good pick. Chuba, Gadsden. Gadsden in the seventh is a little rich, I think, over Laporta. And I have Gadsden on quite a few dynasty teams. Just, the upside is there, but wow. So the board is really looking good for us, I think, personally. There's a lot of good values here in wide receiver and RB. I think this is going to be a great middle round draft. Um, and so it really, this being my first mock draft of the year, it's really making me rethink sort of, what I did at the 2-3 turn of Bowers Allen, because if we've seen Dak, Caleb, Dart, Daniels all going in the sixth to eighth rounds, even T Law, Herbie, who I love, makes me think I reached on Josh Allen. All good, we'll live and learn. I think here I'm gonna go. There's a part of me that really wants to think Wandale. There's also Chris Godwin, who I think is good. But I think I'm just going to go J.K. Dobbins here. J.K. Dobbins, and I'm not going to do any more reaching. I don't understand why Brian Robinson's ADP is this high. Aaron Jones, I think, is just a safety net. I think he could be good, but I sort of like the rookie behind him. Kenny Gainwell, he did well. I think he'll do well in his role as a pass catching back. Tyler Algier, unfortunately, I just don't want anything to do with. Same thing with James Conner. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I'm not really interested in. And Jadarian Price, I like. I just think it's a little bit of a reach here. I do like Jordan Addison with Kyler. I think he could be a good value. I could say the same thing for Wandale. I like Dobbs. I like Reed. I like KC Concepcion. I like Higgins. I think Godwin's going to be good. I think he'll probably end up being some sort of alpha in his offense. I think without Evans, we'll see. He is getting older. I do think he's a safety net for Baker, and I think he has the potential out of these guys, maybe not Wandale, to catch the most balls, especially with Tate coming in. And I kind of like him better than a lot of these guys, so I'm gonna go Godwin. Jadarian Price goes. I think that's probably a good price for him. Purdy, I think, is a really good pick here. We have a big tight end run. Not really understanding that. It's 0.5 PPR. There's really no incentive to go tight end early. Wow, so we have more picks. James Conner, not really interested in. Zach Charbonnet, I'm not interested in. Woody Marks, Tyrone Tracy. I think these guys have just become third down backs. Trey Benson, not really interested in. Jonathan Brooks, I am interested in. Let's see what we have at wide receiver. I think here's like a pretty slam dunk Wandale. And I like Jaden Higgins. I may reach for him a little bit. I think he could be really good. I think they did just give Jaden Reed an extension. Tucker Craft is coming off that big injury. Um, I think they do like him the most. I also like Christian Watson a lot. I think Christian Watson went pretty early. Yeah, he went in the sixth. Uh, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just. I have four, I think, pretty good wide receivers. I think I might take in Higgins and just sort of hope for a jump because I don't really like Diggs. Dobbs, I'm not really interested in it in New England. Even though I think he can be a nice safety net for Drake May. Khalil Shakir, I'm a Bills fan. I love the Bills. Khalil Shakir is just not a great fantasy asset. Xavier Worthy, a lot of question marks. Jawan Jennings, rumors are that he's going to either the Vikings or Miami. The Vikings have a super crowded wide receiver room. Not really interested in him there. If he does go to the Vikings, I would push down Jordan Addison a little bit. Jalen Higgins, I think the room is wide open. It's a little bit of a reach, but, first draft of the year, so let's try it out. James Conner, I don't really understand. Stephon Diggs in the 11th, I think is a good pick. Or Matt Stafford, excuse me. Question mark. Don't love. Jordan Love, I think, is good. Goff. Goff, underrated. Very underrated. Too high for Malik Willis. Um, in 12 team, one quarterback, I think you could just, you can just punt. And the computer's doubling up, so very questionable. All right, just a few rounds left. I think here I'm just going to take some upside guys, so I'm going to take a Jonathan Brooks. Um, I like Nick Singleton. I think this is the part of the draft where you want to be able to take guys, maybe rookies with wide open rooms. So here, I think you could take a Rashad White if you wanted to. Mike Washington, not really interested in. Braylon Allen, not really interested in. Chris Rodriguez, I think hypothetically you could go for and potentially win the base shell 2 and sort of ADP jump there. I would highly consider that. Keaton Mitchell, not really a fan of. Isaiah Pacheco, I think in the 13th is great value if you're considering him to be very similar to what David Montgomery was, or is Gibbs going to get even more work? But here I think you could take like a Nick Singleton and feel like pretty good about it. Coker, okay. Kamara, question marks. Downs, I think is good value. White is good value. These are good quarterback values. Tyreek Hill, obviously it's the computer. A lot of defenses. You could take your defense and kicker, whatever you want to do at your expense. For these drafts, I think going forward, I'll just remove kicker and defense. You could just stream those. There's really no need to showcase taking a kicker or defense. They change so much, and they can get you a bad defense can get you a good amount of points playing against a bad offense. So same thing with kicker. I think there's just so many options. Obviously, if you can get Brandon Aubrey or um, the guy from the Steelers, you can, or Cam Little on Jacksonville. But again, I think you can really stream these guys. As for me, looking more into wide receiver values, I think you can take Omar Cooper. I think you can take Denzel Boston. I think Antonio Williams is a good value. Jalen McMillian is a good value. Um, you know, I like the Tennessee guys. I already have Wandale. Jalen No, you could take. I think there's just a lot of dart throws here. To me, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I'm just gonna take the first round pick, Omar Cooper. I think he could be a nice little safety net for whoever decides to play quarterback there. And then as for our final pick, we'll just pick RB. I could see Sean Tucker. I could see Katron Allen, maybe edging out Ja'Cory Krosky-Mara in Washington. But I'm going to take Damon Claiborne. It is a reach, but it's early in the season. They picked him in the 6th round. I don't think they're very happy with their RB room. They did re-sign Aaron Jones, but I think Jones and Mason maybe just weren't as explosive as you want. If you guys read Matt Waldman, he's really high on Damon Claiborne, so I'm going to pick him. Finish up the draft. All right. So, if you liked that video, please leave a like down below. I'll be back tomorrow with draft number 2. I'll be drafting from a random spot over here. Maybe we'll go late. Maybe we'll go in the middle. The middle is always interesting. It's fun because there's so much variability in the middle. The one, that you're going to get an elite asset at the very top of your choice. And then the 2-3, I think the 2-3 here really defines your draft. Here, maybe I was a little too feisty with the onesie positions with tight end and quarterback. However, I think all of these guys could finish number 1 overall in their position. I do like Quinshawn. It could be a little bit of a reach considering he is coming back from an ankle injury. Zay Flowers has some volume concerns, but that could change its way. I like Jordan Tyson as a rookie from New Orleans. Rico Dowdle, I think, can be explosive in Pittsburgh. J.K. Dobbins, I like. 8 could be a little rich, with his injury history. Godwin, Wandale, and Higgins, I like as pseudo volume plays. Higgins maybe has the least opportunity for volume with Nico, but I think Wandale and Godwin have good opportunities to get maybe 5-6 catches a game, a couple touchdowns a season. Jay Brooks, I like as an upside swing for running back. Same thing with Nick Singleton. Omar Cooper Jr., I think is just a solid rookie. And, they took him in the 1st round, I think 30th overall. So, yeah, he's playing for the Jets, but someone's got to catch passes there, and I think their offense looks pretty great overall. And then Damon Claiborne as a just a dart throw to the Vikings backfield. So, thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please leave a like. I'll create that Discord, and I will see you guys tomorrow.